July 4th, a day of celebration in the United States as our Independence Day. It's a day of revelry, of fireworks, of patriotism, of trying not to burn my apartment to the ground via barbecuing. It's a day of many things, but what it is not is America's birthday. Wait, what? I know, right? Despite a bevy of tweets wishing America a happy birthday, or a giant birthday card signed by over 5 million Polish people, July 4th is actually not the technical anniversary of when America as a country was conceptualized, nor even the day that it decided to secede from Great Britain. The cat is watching. Pinning down an exact birthday for the United States is a bit tricky because, shocker, founding a country isn't exactly something that can just happen overnight. It actually happened over a period of months, or even years. In fact, the initial battles of what we later refer to as the American Revolution happened over a year prior to the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And that's not even getting into the fact that most historians believe that the Declaration was actually signed in August as opposed to July. But you shouldn't fret because there's actually a number of different dates that could potentially signal a concerted effort towards American independence and thus be considered candidates for America's actual birthday. There's July 2nd, which was the date that the Second Continental Congress voted unanimously to secede from Great Britain. It's really important to our nation's history. In fact, it's why John Adams wrote to his wife Abigail, "The second day of July 1776 will be the most memorable day in the history of America." I mean, you gotta give the dude credit, he was only off by 2. It could be when the Committee of Five began writing the Declaration of Independence on June 11th. You'll notice that this is actually before July 2nd, and that's because sometimes politics can be a little weird. It could be May 4th, when Rhode Island became the first colony, well, I guess former colony, to declare independence from Great Britain. Because actually a whole bunch of localities and states declared themselves free and sovereign well before the Continental Congress did. So may the 4th always be with you, Rhode Island. April 12th also stands out as a possible date, as it commemorates when North Carolina first gave its delegates the express authority to even consider the idea of independence in the Continental Congress, because previously, the Congress didn't even have the express authority to deal with the question of secession from Great Britain. Or maybe we should look at January 10th, as it was the day that Thomas Paine's famous pamphlet, Common Sense, was published. Battles were actually being fought since April of 1775, but independence wasn't on the minds of many, as these skirmishes were more like the culmination of tensions that had been simmering for the better part of 2 decades. Many people thought that it would be possible to reconcile the differences that the colonies had with the Crown and ultimately remain loyal British subjects. However, this changed once Common Sense was published, as it created a powerfully persuasive argument towards recapitulating these early battles as the first steps towards American independence. So why do we celebrate July 4th? Well, celebrations of the 4th started in Rhode Island, that forerunner of American independence, in 1777, and Washington himself celebrated the day by offering his soldiers extra rations of rum just a year later in 1778. Massachusetts then became the first state to recognize it as an official holiday in 1781. But the day wasn't officially recognized by the federal government until 1870, when the 46th Congress declared July 4th as an unpaid federal holiday for Independence Day. It was made a paid holiday by the 76th Congress in 1936. Now, this is not intended to insinuate that just because the date that we chose doesn't perfectly harmonize with history, that the celebration is somehow contrived or meaningless. Socially constructed meaning can still be meaningful, and in the case of something as momentous as a country's founding, you can bet your bottom dollar that it absolutely is meaningful. So while this is an interesting bit of trivia, or I like to think that it's interesting, don't let this take away from the symbolism of the 4th or the pride that the date is meant to invoke. So what day do you think is the best candidate for America's birthday? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Links for everything as always will be down in the doobly-doo, as well as the links to the Facebook, the Twitter, and the blog. I look forward to seeing you guys all out there. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider liking it, sharing it to help the channel grow, and subscribing for more awesome social science content. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.